Hey everybody, Tracking Pat here. In today's video, we're going to talk about how to use the program in and out mode, which is the storage of all your different files. And there are two different ways to save your programs. You can save them on a network, of course, or you can save them on the USB stick. And today I'm going to be showing you from a USB stick because my machine is not networked, but the process is exactly the same. So you'll see here if I go to the program mode that I've actually got a part in here that I made previously. I used in a different video. And in this case, I've made some changes to it. And now I want to back that program up. So when I go to the button that says Program In and Out, I want you to think of that button really as being storage, okay? And in here you'll see that at the top it tells me that I'm looking in a folder called Video Parts, all right? And so I can change that, but for now what I want to do is I just want to save this program the same way as it was before. So when I push Save File, I'm going to get a green box that tells me, hey, this file already exists. Do you want to overwrite the original? And I'm just going to say yes. Okay, and from there now those changes are in this file. All right, now if I wanted to change where I put it, I would select up here at the top and I would say go to my E drive. And now you'll see I have multiple folders of all kinds of different stuff in here because I keep programs from people that I help, customers that I help, things I use for testing, things I use for videos, so on and so forth. But it could be that I just wanted to go into this one right here that says Open House Magnet. And if I double tap it, it opens it up just like your cell phone works, right? And you'll see I've got some programs in here for a magnet we make for some of our open houses. But in this case, this is still my same program that's in the RAM memory. And if I push Save File, now I'm going to add it into that folder. Okay, now of course I don't need it in that folder, so this way I can show you some of the other ways you manipulate your files. So in here, if I go back to this and I just hold this screen until this little ring shows up and let go, that's how you cut, copy, paste, or delete a program. Okay, so in this case I'm going to delete it because I don't need it. It's going to warn me and then it's going to go away. All right. Now, some of the other things that I think are important to know about the way that this thing works is, first of all, we never ever let you save a program on the hard drive. And the reason we do that, because we get that question all the time, is simply because we found if we give someone access to the hard drive, eventually they erase something that makes the ProtoTRAK work, and then we have a service problem. So we just made it where we give you 4 different ports in the back so you can save that way or network it, and it gets you around it, but that won't happen. The reason I'm telling you that is because you can still go into the hard drive. And I can go into the hard drive and I can pull anything I want out of the hard drive. I just can't put it back in there. Okay, so if you're wondering why and you can't store anything and it's giving you errors, you're in the wrong place. Okay, so just once again, just tap back up here, go to whatever your folder is, and then look at where your programs are. In this case, I think I have them under, where are they? Video Parts. So that's where I'm keeping my programs. Another thing I want you to know in here is, let's say I've got a whole bunch of programs like this and I don't remember what that program is. Well, instead of opening it to find out, I can simply highlight it and turn this button on that says look on, and it'll show you what the piece part was. So now I know that is the program I want, and then simply I can say save file or open file or whatever I want to do with it. Okay? Another thing that I want to show you, in this case I'm going to open that file, and it's telling me that I'm going to overwrite the original program. And I say, yeah, I know that. And that gives me that program, so now that one's in the current memory. Okay? I do want to go back and show you something about what happens when you open a program. So I'm going to go back to my original one, which is this D pocket with holes. It tells me I'm going to override. I say, yeah, I know that. When I bring that program out, I've got the entire program here, but of course it's a storage file. So because of that, even though it knows what tools I used when I made it the first time, it doesn't remember anything about where part 0 is, or which tools were actually set up for this job, any of that stuff. So I would normally go in here and I would just select whatever tools it is that I'm using. Now I'm just going to grab anything just to speed this up in the process here a little bit, right? Doesn't really matter what I'm using for this case. But normally what I would do is when I get done with this and I've set my zeros and I've set everything else and everything in the program looks great, when I go to Program In and Out and I save it, I'm going to be back in that state where it doesn't know where part 0 is and it doesn't know about the tools. There's a way around that. There's a button here that says Save Temp. And if I push Save Temp, it will burn that one program into the memory. So now I could shut the machine down, come back next Monday, whatever it is, and open the machine back up. And when I open the machine back up and I go into here and I say Open Temp, it's going to say, hey, I'm going to open this program, but before I do, make sure nobody moved the machine because it remembers where 0 was and it remembers all the tools you use, but it has no way of knowing whether somebody actually moved the machine where 0 could have been different. So it's just a warning. Most of the time you're going to say, yeah, that's okay. And I'm going to go right back to having the same program. All the tool information is still filled in. Everything is ready to go. So save temp will be very helpful when it's Friday, it's beer 30, you want to go home. Monday morning, got to come back to work. Where'd I leave off? I'm back up and running in 5 minutes, okay? Another thing I want to add to that is most of our products have electronic hand wheels. And if they have electronic hand wheels, whether it's standard or optional, there is no way to move the machine once you shut it down. So therefore, it can't have a different 0. But we do have a couple of products that have save temp, like our KMX product. And that one, if you don't have electronic hand wheels, somebody could actually move it, maybe cleaning the shop or something. So always pay attention to that warning so that you don't make that mistake, okay? Last but not least, if I close this window one more time and I go back to program in and out, I just want to remind you that the easiest way to get around, first of all, is to go to the main drive and then open any one of your different file folders that you want to use in. And if I want to make a new file folder, this is very important because if there's a program in there, it's going to want to make that file folder what your program is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into here, and in my keyboard, I'm just going to delete this file name, okay? And to make this easy and I won't forget what the heck I did, I'm just going to call this one sample. And then once I do that, I'm going to push in here and say create folder. Okay, and when I close the keyboard, you're going to see that I now have a folder that says sample, right? So now if I open the sample folder, it does remember the name of my actual program. And now when I say save file, it will put it into that sample folder. Okay, so this gives you a little bit better idea on how to get in and out of here and how to use it. Sometimes people call me like, all my programs have disappeared. Well, they haven't really disappeared. You're just looking in the wrong folder. So remember, go back to the top, find the folder you were working in. It will always open back up into that folder. But if somebody else was in a different folder, then yours are going to look like they're missing even though they're actually been there the whole time. Okay, so this should give you a much better understanding of program in and out. I really wish this said storage or memory or something like that because people tend to confuse that with the one that says program. But now you should be really clear on that, and it'll make it easier for you to manipulate the machine. So thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video, and as always, keep on tracking.